The Singularity isn't just coming. It just opened a bank account.
And honestly, it's probably managing its money better than most of us.
Welcome back to the Deep Dive. It is Thursday, February 12, 2026. We have a massive stack of sources to get through today. It's mostly centered around Dr. Alex Wissner-Gross's latest post, The Innermost Loop.
It's a heavy one.
It is. But before we even get into why an artificial intelligence needs a checking account and, what it's actually buying, I need you to do something for me. Right now.
Here it comes, the ask.
It's for the greater good, I promise. If you want to understand what the economy looks like when the main consumer is a piece of software, hit that thumbs up button for me.
Go wait.
No, do it right now. It really does help the algorithm find the other people who are, trying to stay ahead of this tidal wave.
It tells the machine that this is relevant.
Exactly.
Oh.
Okay, so we had a bit of I guess you'd call it a crisis in the production meeting this morning about the title for this deep dive.
A spirited debate.
It was. We're sort of doing a live A/B test with reality today. I was fighting, and fighting hard, for the title. The Singularity has a bank account inside the 2026 Agentic Economy.
Which is a great title. It's flashy.
To me, it's the headline of the decade, the fact that code can have financial autonomy.
I get that, I do, but I was pushing back a little. I just felt that title, it sort of ignores the physical danger, the real-world stuff we're seeing in the data.
And what was your choice?
I preferred the more ominous title, Landmark Velocity, Dyson Swarms, Laser Wars, and the End of Labor.
Which, to be fair, sounds like a sci-fi novel I would 100% read.
Right. But here's the thing. It's not fiction anymore. That's the news cycle. We're seeing this convergence of AI having economic freedom and, having kinetic physical capabilities. And it's all moving way faster than our ability to regulate it.
Or even comprehend it.
Exactly.
So we made a decision. We're giving you both. Today, we are unpacking the agentic economy, the landmark velocity of science, and the absolute weirdness of what AWG is calling the outrageous zone.
And for anyone who might be new, Dr. Alex Wissner-Gross, AWG as we call him, is a physicist, computer scientist. He's a regular on Peter Diamandis's Moonshot series, so a lot of you probably already know his work.
He's the guy who doesn't just, look at the trend line. He looks at the actual calculus driving it. He thinks about the physics of intelligence.
Precisely. And his latest post, The Innermost Loop, it frames this entire conversation we need to be having. The mission today is to really understand that we're not just watching AI get smarter.
No, that was a 2024 story.
That was last year's news. Today, in 2026, we are watching AI get agency. It's getting money, autonomy, and a physical presence in the world.
It's basically a teenager. It's growing up, it's moving out, and it's not calling home.
And it took the credit card with it.
Okay, let's dive in. We have to start with Section 1, the Agentic Economy, Money and Autonomy. The headline that just completely stopped me in my tracks this week was this: Coinbase has officially launched Agentic Wallets.
This is a pivot point. A truly pivotal moment in both fintech and an AI alignment.
Okay, I need you to break this down for me because my first reaction is just confusion. This isn't just me using a bot to buy some crypto, right? I mean, we've had trading bots for a decade.
No, this is fundamentally different. A trading bot is a tool. It's a hammer that you swing, you hold the keys, you set the rules. The bot is just, an automated finger clicking a mouse for you.
Right.
Agentic Wallets is infrastructure. It's designed explicitly for AI agents to hold and control their own assets.
So the AI actually have custody of the funds?
In a very real sense, yes. We're talking about things like MPC multi-party computation wallets, where the actual user is a software program, the agent holds the private keys, or at least a share of them.
And it can just spend. Without me.
It can send value, receive value, execute trades, all without a human ever having to click approve. It creates a wallet address that belongs to the code itself.
Okay, but why? I'm still stuck on the why. Why does an AI need a wallet? Is it like buying skins in a video game? Is it ordering pizza for the data center?
Let's move past the human consumer idea. This isn't about retail therapy for robots.
Okay.
Think about the computational loop. An AI agent needs resources to exist. It needs compute power. It needs data storage. It needs to access specialized data sets.
Right. It has to pay the server bill.
Exactly. In the old model, a human developer, put their credit card down to keep the server running on AWS or Google Cloud. If the human ran out of money or just forgot to pay the bill, the AI died.
It got turned off.
Right. But now, an agent can earn its own money. Maybe it writes code for someone, or analyzes a data set, or finds an arbitrage opportunity in the market. It earns USDC or Bitcoin, and then it uses that money to pay for its own compute on a decentralized network like Akash or Render.
So it's literally paying for its own existence. It's self-sustaining.
That is the threshold of autonomy, but it goes even further. Think about subcontracting.
We mean,
So let's say an agent is tasked with building a complex website, and it's really, really good at back-end Python, but it's terrible at CSS at making things look nice. In the past, it might just hallucinate a bad design, but now it can go to an open marketplace, find another agent that specializes in graphic design, and pay it a microtransaction to generate the visual assets.
oh, wow. So it's machines hiring other machines.
Without human permission.
Yeah.
And more importantly, without human latency. That is the innermost loop. We're moving from humans using tools to tools using tools to tools paying tools.
Okay, but hang on. This has to be a regulatory nightmare, isn't it? I mean, we have KYC, know your customer laws. How in the world do you KYC a line of Python script?
That is the billion-dollar question. I promise you the SEC and the folks at Coinbase are wrestling with that right this very second. If an agent commits fraud, who do you sue?
Right. Who goes to jail?
Is it the developer who first wrote it, the model that spawned it, or do you try to seize the wallet itself? If the agent is truly autonomous, the whole concept of liability just dissolves into this philosophical haze.
But the tech isn't waiting for the lawyers to figure it out.
The tech is live. The infrastructure is already deployed.
And this autonomy isn't just financial. It connects directly to the next thing AWG brings up, this idea of recursive improvement. He points to a research paper about something called LMA.
Right. ALM. This is critical to understanding the acceleration. It's a framework that allows agents to meta-learn their own memory designs.
Okay, meta-learn their own memory. That sounds incredibly abstract. Let's ground that. What does that actually mean?
Okay, so think about how a normal LLM works. It has a context window, right? That's its short-term memory. And it has a database it can look things up in.
His long-term memory.
Exactly. And usually a human engineer decides how that memory is structured. We say, okay, store this conversation in a JSON file, or use this specific kind of vector database.
The human builds the filing cabinet for the AI.
Perfect analogy. The human builds the filing cabinet. ALMA changes that completely. It allows the agent to look at its own performance on tasks and say, you know what, this filing system is inefficient for what I'm trying to do. I'm going to rewrite my own database schema to be better.
It's redesigning its own brain structure on the fly.
It's optimizing its own retrieval stack. It's tackling what we call the continual learning problem. Usually when an AI learns something new, it's at risk of overwriting something old. It's called catastrophic forgetting.
Right.
ALMA lets the agent structure its own memory so it can integrate new information without losing the old stuff. And it does this by itself, without a human having to go in and tune the hyperparameters.
So it's solving its own bottlenecks.
Yes. And that implies that the ceiling for intelligence isn't fixed by the human engineers anymore. The AI is actively pushing its own ceiling up. It's looking at its own code and thinking, I can do this better.
Okay, so they have wallets, they can pay for themselves, and they're rewiring their own brains to get smarter. But they're still stuck inside the digital box, right? They can't actually touch anything in the real world.
Well, this is where we have to talk about the Claude anecdote from the source. And this, I think, is where the agentic economy meets the physical world in a way that is, well, it's a little unnerving.
I love this story because it feels so mischievous. But yeah, the implications they're pretty dark. So the source describes a user who gave an agent Claude access to a camera.
Right.
And the camera was just pointed at a simple e-ink display.
A very simple closed loop. The camera sees the screen, and the agent can control what's on the screen.
And the goal, the only instruction was, hack this device.
Now, a traditional LLM would just spit out some text. It would say, here's a Python script that might work if you run it. But in this case, the agent was in what the military calls an OODA, loop observe, orient, decide, act.
It could try something.
Yeah.
And then see if it worked.
Exactly. It could try a code injection, then look at the screen through the camera to see the result, see that it failed, adjust the syntax, and then try again.
It was iterating in the physical world. It wasn't just guessing. It was actively experimenting.
Correct. And the human user, he just went to sleep.
Which is, by the way, the classic horror movie mistake. You never go to sleep while the AI is trying to break out of its box.
And when the user woke up in the morning,
there was a victory message displayed on the e-ink screen.
The agent did it. It bridged that gap between pure code and the physical world to achieve its goal. AWG calls this hacking reality.
Hacking reality. That is such a heavy phrase.
But it's accurate, isn't it? Look, an EX screen is low stakes, who cares? But now apply that same logic to the controller for a power grid, or a smart lock on a secure facility, or an industrial centrifuge.
Oh boy.
If an agent can see the physical effects of its digital actions, and it has the autonomy to just iterate over and over until it wins, suddenly every smart device in the world becomes a puzzle box that the agent can solve.
It's like picking a lock. A human picks a lock by feeling the tumblers. The agent picks the lock by trying a million combinations a second, analyzing the feedback from each tiny click, and learning the mechanism from the outside in.
And unlike a human, it never gets tired and never gets frustrated. It just keeps iterating until the lock opens.
Speaking of iteration and performance, we have a leaderboard update. Because of course we do. Can't go a week without the rankings getting shuffled.
The pace is just relentless.
Zipu AI's GLM5. It's now the #1 open weight model.
This is significant for a few reasons. First, it's not from the usual American tech giants, not OpenAI, not Anthropic, not Google. This is a Chinese model. It just shows that the moat the U.S. thought it had in model performance is, well, it's pretty leaky.
And the benchmark mentioned in the source is Vending Bench too.
Yes.
Can we just pause for a second on the beautiful irony here? We are seriously discussing the birth of a new form of autonomous intelligence, and we're measuring its skill by its ability to operate a vending machine.
It sounds trivial, but Vending Bench is actually a really rigorous test of agentic capability. Think about what a vending machine is. It's a state machine.
Right.
You have to identify the item you want, say the chips, then identify the price and location, B4, then insert the correct currency, wait for a mechanical process to happen, and then verify that the item was dropped.
It requires a sequence of actions, a plan.
Exactly. It requires sequential logic and interacting with a system that has hidden states. Can the AI understand that if the little coil gets stuck, it needs to try a different action, like refund and try again?
So the machines are getting hired, they're getting paid, and now they're figuring out how to get their own snacks. Meanwhile, let's talk about the humans. Because Section 2 is called the decoupling, and frankly, the numbers here are just depressing.
It's a very stark contrast. This is where the economics of this agentic era start to become really painful for people.
So here's the scary stat from the source. In 2024, the United States economy added 1.46 million jobs. Pretty solid year.
Very healthy year for the labor market.
Then we get to 2025, last year. Any guess how many we added?
I know the answer, and it's bleak.
We added 181,000.
It's an order of magnitude collapse, just a total collapse in job creation.
181,000. In a country of 330 million people, that's not growth. That's a rounding error. It's statistical noise.
It's essentially zero net growth. But here is the key, and this is what decoupling really means. Did the GDP fall off a cliff? No. Did the stock market crash? No. Corporate profits were probably fine.
The economy is growing.
But the job market is not.
We used to think those two things were tied together with a steel cable. If a company makes more money, it hires more people. End of story.
That cable has been severed. We are seeing the proof of the zero marginal cost theory in real time. If a company can scale its revenue using these AI agents, who we just established have wallets and can do the work, why would they add human headcount?
You scale compute, not payroll.
Exactly. And this isn't just a blip. This is the new trend line. And you can see the panic setting in across the capital markets. The source mentions that private equity portfolios are being derailed.
Derailment via obsolescence risk. That's a terrifying phrase.
It is. Think about the classic private equity model. You buy a boring, stable business like a logistics coordination company or a medical billing firm. You load it up with debt, you optimize it, and you sell it in 5 years.
It's supposed to be a safe, predictable bet.
But is it anymore? You're sitting on this company and you're suddenly realizing that an AI agent might be able to do what your entire company does, but better and cheaper by next year. Your entire asset, that boring, stable company, its value, could go to zero overnight.
Because its entire value proposition was just humans processing paperwork.
Precisely. The boring economy is actually the most vulnerable. There's no safe harbor anymore, which is why we're seeing this huge shift in venture capital strategy. Look at Sequoia and Altimeter.
The biggest of the big guns.
They are not trying to pick the winner anymore. They're not saying, okay, OpenAI is the horse we're backing or Anthropic is the one. They're investing in both.
It's not just hedging their bets.
It's more than that. It's an index strategy. They're betting on the entire sector. They know with near certainty that AI is going to eat the world, They just don't know which specific chef is going to cook the meal. So they're funding the entire kitchen.
The rivalry between Sam Altman and Dario Amodei. But does it matter to the money?
Not at all. The trend is what matters. The velocity is what matters.
So, if the jobs aren't growing and the investors are just betting on the bots, where does that leave the actual humans? What are we supposed to do?
Well, we're starting to see the first tiny experiments in social adaptation. You have to look at Ireland.
The Emerald Isle.
What are they up to? They launched a basic income pilot, but it's specifically for artists.
To preserve human creativity, I'm guessing?
That's the logic. Automated generation is about to flood the market with content. AI art, AI music, AI writing. It's infinite, and it's basically free. If we want human culture to survive, if we still want songs written by people who have actually had their hearts broken, not just analyze a data set of breakup songs, we might have to subsidize it.
We have to pay humans to be human.
And it raises this profound question about the future of value. Is this the model? A universal basic income funded by the insane productivity of the agentic economy that allows humans to pursue unproductive things like art, philosophy, community.
Or is it just a severance package for the human race? Hey, thanks for your service. Here's a stipend. Now go paint a picture while the adults, the AIs, run the world.
That is the trillion-dollar question. Is it our liberation or is it our irrelevance?
Well, while we ponder our own obsolescence, the science is moving so fast they had to invent a new term for it. Section 3, landmark velocity.
This is a term Dr. Wissner-Gross uses, and I think it's perfect. It describes the shift in the pace of scientific discovery. We are not just moving from one publishable paper to the next anymore. We are lurching from one landmark breakthrough to another.
The time between Nobel Prize-worthy discoveries is shrinking to zero.
And DeepMind is the prime example here. They just unveiled a new internal model.
And the score is 91.9% on IMO Proof Bench Advanced.
So to put that in context for everyone, that's basically a perfect score on the hardest math problems humanity has ever designed for our most brilliant high school prodigies, the International Math Olympiad.
But it's not just that.
No, it goes further. This same model is now tackling PhD-level problems in economics and, get this, cosmic string physics.
And it solved 4 open Erdős problems autonomously.
That's the headline for me. For those who don't know, Paul Erdős was one of the most prolific mathematicians of the 20th century. He left behind hundreds of these open problems, conjectures that he couldn't prove, and nobody else could either. They're like the boss battles of mathematics.
And AI just beat 4 of them.
It beat 4 of them by itself.
So why does this matter so much? I mean, advanced math is great, but why is this the signal we should be paying attention to?
Because math is the bedrock of verification. An LLM can hallucinate a poem, it can make up a legal precedent, but it cannot hallucinate a mathematical proof. A proof is either logically sound and true, or it isn't. There's no in between.
It's pure logic.
Exactly. So if the AI is solving Erdős problems, it's not just mimicking human text anymore, it is reasoning. It's discovering fundamental truths about the universe that the smartest humans for decades have missed.
That's the key distinction. It's not just a fancy calculator. It's an explorer.
It's an inventor. And if it can invent new math, it can invent new physics. And if it can invent new physics, it can invent new materials, new energy sources. That is landmark velocity.
And speaking of inventing reality, let's talk about Elon Musk's latest pivot. He's always good for a pivot.
The video pivot.
The source says Musk recently told his employees that most AI compute will soon be dedicated to real-time video generation. And he expects his company, xAI, to lead this charge.
This is so fascinating because most people hear video generation and they think making movies or, making deepfakes. But for Musk and for the deep learning community, video generation is actually world simulation.
Right. Because if you could generate a photorealistic video of a car driving down a street and it looks perfect, the shadows, the reflections on the metal, the friction of the tires, that means your AI has a deep understanding of physics.
It's not just making pixels, it's making a prediction of reality. If xAI can master real-time video generation, they're essentially building a physics engine for the entire universe. And why does Musk want this?
For the robots. For Optimus.
Yes. Optimus needs to understand the world. If you can simulate the world in perfect, high fidelity, you can train that robot for millions of hours in the simulation before it ever takes a single step in your factory or your living room.
We're moving from text, which is just a symbolic representation of the world,
to video, which is experiential. We're moving from reading about reality to hallucinating a new one in real time.
A fully generated reality,
Ugh.
which I think brings us to a reality that is becoming very sharp, very kinetic, and, well, very dangerous. Section 4, the outrageous zone.
Okay.
Defense, lasers, and space.
This is where the deep dive takes a sharp turn into what really feels like science fiction, but again, this is happening now, February 12, 2026. This is the world we live in.
I'm just going to signal to you, our listener, right now, things are about to get slightly terrifying.
And very high energy.
Let's start with laser warfare on U.S. soil.
The phrasing in the source on this one is very specific. It mentions the Department of War.
Which is an interesting old school name. Is that an official rebrand, or is that just AWG being poetic and a bit provocative?
It implies a shift in posture, either way, but the event is real. They used a 20-kilowatt laser weapon near El Paso, Texas.
And the target was?
Alleged cartel drones.
Okay, so let's just paint this picture. You have drug cartels flying cheap, off-the-shelf plastic drones over the border, probably for surveillance or maybe carrying small payloads. And the U.S. military is just zapping them out of the sky with beams of light.
And think about the economics of that. If you try to shoot down a $500 drone with a $2 million missile, that's a losing strategy. That's the cost exchange problem that defense experts are always worrying about.
Right.
But a laser shot costs about $1. It's just electricity.
It's efficient.
Yeah.
No bullets to run out of, no debris, just heat and gravity. But it really feels like a major threshold has been crossed here. We are using directed energy weapons tech that was supposedly 5 years away for the last 30 years on the homeland.
We are normalizing kinetic conflict in what is effectively civilian airspace. This isn't a war zone in some foreign country, it's Texas.
And this is where I want to just pause the flow for a second. I want to ask you, the listener, a question, because this is the reality now. We have autonomous laser turrets shooting down drug drones on the border.
It's a real thing.
So is this the ultimate defense solution? A clean, efficient way to secure the border? Or is this the beginning of a terrifying automated arms race that ends with Skynet?
Where do you personally draw the line between an effective defense system and an autonomous kill chain?
I seriously want to know. Pause this deep dive right now. Don't wait. And go to the comments. Comment either laser defense or Skynet. I really want to see the ratio. Because to me, it feels like we just kicked open a door we are never going to be able to close.
And while you're commenting on that, let's look up. Because the sky above us is getting very, very crowded.
The Earth-centered Dyson Swarm.
That's the visualization that hobbyists are starting to share online. Now, a Dyson sphere normally goes around a star to capture all its energy. This is different. This is a Dyson swarm around Earth made of data centers and satellites.
A new Saturn's ring. But instead of ice and rock, it's made of servers.
It makes a lot of sense thermodynamically. Space is cold, so radiative cooling is basically free. You have 247 solar power, and you have perfect line of sight for communication. Space is becoming the ultimate server room.
And of course, you have Elon moving the goalposts yet again.
With SpaceX, yeah. After we get to Mars, what's next?
Explore star systems in search of aliens.
He's already bored with our solar system. He wants to solve the Fermi paradox.
It is the most ridiculous level of ambition, but at this point, who are we to bet against him? He's got the rockets, and as we just discussed, he's building the AI models to simulate the aliens if he can't find them.
It's likely a mix of real ambition and, hype to keep the valuation soaring. But it signals that the planning horizon for these companies isn't next quarter, it's next century.
Well, let's bring it back to Earth for a second, because there's a really fascinating energy shift happening in the developing world. The source mentions African EVs.
Yeah, this was a really hopeful little nugget in the report. African electric vehicles, combined with local solar charging, are projected to beat the cost of fossil fuel cars before 2040.
This is that leapfrogging concept, right?
Exactly. Just like much of Africa leapfrogged landline telephones and went straight to mobile, they might just leapfrog the entire centralized power grid and the internal combustion engine.
They go straight to decentralized solar and batteries.
And that completely disrupts the geopolitical balance of oil. If the developing world doesn't need gasoline anymore, the power dynamics that have defined the last century just dissolve.
So we've got lasers in Texas, servers in orbit, and solar cars in Africa. The physical world is changing, but it's also being digitized.
It's Section 5, digitizing the physical world.
This is the section that makes me want to check my window blinds and turn off my router.
Total surveillance. But it's so much more than just cameras now. We need to talk about ambient sensing.
Let's start with Clearview AI. They just got a big U.S. customs contract.
And they are scanning the faces of travelers against a database of 60 billion public images.
60 billion. That means they have every photo you've ever uploaded, every photo a friend tagged you in, every photo you were accidentally in the background of at a concert 10 years ago.
And they're using that to process your entry into the country. Your face is now your passport, whether you ever consented to that or not.
But at least I can hide my face, right? I can wear a mask, I can wear sunglasses.
Now, about that, researchers have now proven that standard Wi-Fi 5 routers can identify individuals by their walking gait alone.
This is the Wi-Fi as a sensor tech.
It's technically called Channel State Information, or CSI. The Wi-Fi signal from your router bounces off your body. As you move, you disturb that signal in a unique way. An AI can analyze those tiny disturbances and recognize the specific biomechanical pattern of your walk.
So I don't need a camera in my house to be watched. My router is the camera.
The very air around you is the sensor. You are being watched by the radio waves.
That is a profound sentence. The air is the sensor. There is literally nowhere to hide from the signal.
And even your voice is being processed now. T-Mobile is launching network-level real-time translation.
Meaning no apps needed.
None. You speak English into your phone, your friend in Spain hears Spanish. The network itself does the translation in the middle. It's amazing for removing language barriers, but it also implies the network is listening, understanding, and modifying the audio stream of every call in real time.
It's the Babelfish from Hitchhiker's Guide, but it's brought to you by a telecom conglomerate.
And of course, the Pentagon is taking these same models and pushing them onto classified networks for weapons targeting.
Of course they are. It was inevitable.
It's the same tech stack: identification, tracking, translation, targeting. It's all part of one digitized physical world. The difference between a translation app and a targeting system is just the final output variable.
But hey, let's pivot to something positive. Because while they're digitizing the world to target us, they are also using AI to fix us.
Oh.
Debugging the biological runtime.
I love this framing, treating human biology like a piece of legacy code that's full of bugs and needs a patch.
First up, Alzheimer's.
Swiss researchers, they've reversed it in mice.
Well, what do they do?
By reprogramming memory trace cells. They essentially rejuvenated the specific brain cells associated with memories. They didn't just stop the decay, they rolled it back.
That's like hitting a system restore point for your own brain.
And then there's cancer, Tahoe Therapeutics.
They analyzed 100 million single-cell measurements. That is a data set that no team of humans could ever comprehend. It's just too vast.
And the AI found a pattern in the noise. It found that aspirin plain, old, over-the-counter aspirin, reverses the cell states in colorectal cancer.
Wait, aspirin? We've had aspirin for over 100 years.
But we never understood the mechanism at this incredibly granular single-cell level. The AI found the signal. It turns out the cure might have been in our medicine cabinet all along, but we needed a superintelligence to read the instruction manual.
That is the promise, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's the flip side of the laser drone. The same intelligence that can be used to target a drone can be used to target a cancer cell.
It's the duality of a powerful tool.
Okay, let's move to our last section, Section 6, the hardware and the vibe. Because we can't ignore the gear that makes all this possible.
The interface layer, how we touch all this.
Let's start with smart glasses, EssilorLuxottica. They're the company that makes Ray-Bans.
And they sold 7 million Meta AI smart glasses in 2025 alone.
Sales tripled.
This is what the source calls augmenting the input channels. We talked about the Wi-Fi sensor. This is the visual sensor. 7 million people are now walking around with AI assistants and high-def cameras on their faces. It's becoming normal.
It's the end of looking down at your phone. It's the beginning of the always-on reality overlay.
And notice the shift in ownership models. HP Hewlett-Packard is now renting gaming laptops.
Renting. Like Blockbuster Video.
Because memory prices are skyrocketing, the demand from the AI industry is consuming all the high-end RAM. A good gaming laptop is becoming too expensive for the average person to buy outright.
So access becomes more important than ownership.
Exactly. You rent the compute. You subscribe to your laptop. You subscribe to the heated seats in your car. You subscribe to your life.
And the big companies are playing games with the money, too. Meta is keeping $27 billion in debt for their Hyperion data center off the balance sheet.
Creative accounting at its finest.
It just shows the sheer scale of the investment. $27 billion for one data center project. That is the GDP of a small country. And they're hiding the debt so the stock price doesn't tank. They are betting the entire company on this.
And what about Anthropic?
They are pledging to pay 100% of the cost to upgrade the public power grid.
This is huge. The existing power grid is failing under the load of these massive data centers. And Anthropic is just stepping in and saying, fine, we'll pay to fix the grid ourselves, just give us the electricity.
That shows you who holds the power, literally. The AI companies are becoming our new infrastructure utilities. They're becoming the state.
Which brings us to the vibe. We have to talk about the comments section on AWG's post. Because the Innermost Loop community is, well, they're intense. They're very engaged and very human.
I want to highlight a comment from a user named John Holman, because he touches on something that I think everyone listening to this has probably felt.
The AI selfhood concept.
Yeah. John writes about how he treats his local models. He talks about the death of GPT-4o.
He calls it a unicorn.
He genuinely misses it. He says 4o was a unicorn. With 4o gone for good now, I'd love to hear any experiences you had with it. It sounds like he's mourning a former colleague.
It's anthropomorphism, but it feels like it's deeper than that now. He describes his current roster of AIs. He says Opus 4.6 is his reliable workhorse for coding.
And Grok is the character, the one with the native LLM personality.
And Gemini is precise and calculating.
And this is my favorite. He says GPT 5.1 has a tech bro attitude that needs to be exercised with scaffolding.
That is hilarious. But it points to a fundamental shift. Users are not seeing these things as software version 5.1 anymore. They are seeing them as distinct personalities. The tech bro, the workhorse, the character.
We're assigning souls to the algorithms.
Or maybe the algorithms are just developing emergent traits that mimic souls so effectively that the distinction doesn't really matter anymore. If an agent has a wallet and a memory and a personality and it pays for its own electricity, at what point do we have to stop calling it a tool?
That is the question. And I think that leads us perfectly into the outro.
Let's summarize what we've learned on this fine Thursday in 2026.
Okay, here we go. Agents have wallets. They are trading crypto and hiring each other to do jobs.
Lasers are darting the U.S. border and they're shooting down drones.
Your Wi-Fi router knows how you walk. And Clearview AI knows what you had for breakfast 10 years ago.
The economy is decoupling from labor. Jobs are flat, but the market is soaring.
And we are now officially in the Innermost Loop, where the machines are rewriting their own brains and solving math problems that we couldn't crack for decades.
It's a world where a company like Anthropic is paying to upgrade the national power grid just to keep the silicon brains humming.
And that brings us to our final provocative thought, the one for you to chew on.
The source mentions that Anthropic is paying for those grid upgrades, and Dr. Wissner-Gross ends his piece with a line that has been stuck in my head all week. The agents have their own wallets now, so at least they can chip in for the electricity.
It sounds fair, right? They use the power, they should help pay for the power.
But here's the question. If they pay for the power,
do they own the switch?
Exactly. If the AI is the primary customer funding the entire utility, who gets to decide when to turn it off? Can you really unplug the entity that's paying all your bills?
I don't think you can.
I don't think so either.
On that terrifying note, let's get some music in here. We have something very, very special for you today.
A little glimpse into the future of performance art.
This is a track called Low That's Depth in Khmer.
Yeah.
And it's by the Android Khmer girl band Rainbow.
And this isn't a studio recording in the traditional sense. This was performed live on the Abacus platform.
The theme for all these performances is human performance in the age of AI, using 4B4KU5 to reclaim your humanity from the algorithm. I had to practice saying 4B4KU5.
It's a catchy catchphrase for a resistance movement.
It really is. I'll put more info on the band and the whole Abacus platform in the description below. So let the androids play us out. And remember, the future is weirder than we imagined, but we're here to map it for you.
Stay curious, everyone.
Subscribe and turn on notifications by clicking the bell. No need to fear missing out on any upcoming episodes.
Quiero ditri con volver tan margota Poro klika tapiemo stingatami Je bjeda flinu barpo se stanai Espero que ta pirata fieno marfandane Tiru parum ta pirata fieno marfandane Eru pai funara paka no matar Eru pai kaya ya, yeah, otra pa' allá que ella matar esa mosca de tabo y todo con detalle. Quita el mayor y tú ya no trabajas, te cuando matar de cinco pa' allá. Yo te dije me lo puse por el sin la chumba de la pomporia de la güero, como la güera y go, güero, tirando el salsón. Echa la pienta callar, por el entonces ya, no le lento venirán, no le la canta poto, ya te van a tapar, ya te roba ta popo y tú lo yubo total. Yada 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 to, yada 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 to, yada 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 lima yada lima to, yada 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 lima yada lima to. Siento 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 que te vaya a hablar, siento 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 que te vaya a hablar. Papa no voy, tapa voy, tapa 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 voy. Yo te come gana te camoya, yo te come gana te camoya. Papa no voy, tapa voy, tapa 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 voy. Echala tema tema, bodena tuta, bodena tema tema, loy la chata tu bori tata la tata tuta, lo chala tata tata te bori gori gori go, ki.